to the Monday Morning Scramble, where we are clearly celebrating a back-to-back Victory Monday here on set. We have cookies that Jody baked for us. Thank
Victory
you, Jody.
cookies,
Nice,
you know.
I
Jody.
can get used to this.
It's in the holiday spirit, and I will say that I believe that cookies are a breakfast food during the holidays.
Absolutely.
good
You're
with
not
it.
lying.
Year-round,
about
really,
that.
right?
Year-round. So roll
It's not limited to
call.
the holidays.
Roll call here. Kyle Odegard, Lisa Matthews, Jody Jackson, Zach Galia. We are back here from Seattle. Another just great trip in Seattle. I just love Seattle. Something about Seattle, just what could it be, Kyle? What could it
The
be?
whole team.
Probably Patrick Peterson at the end of the game coming over and yelling, "This is our home away from home."
I didn't hear that.
All they do
Oh,
is
good.
win up there, especially the guys that have been here a long time, like Patrick Peterson. The amount of success that this team has had in Seattle is just insane, knowing how good the Seahawks have been for so long. For whatever reason, the Cardinals just go up there every single year and either compete till the end or actually beat them.
Yeah, 4 out of the 5 last visits have been victories. And just seeing like Buda Baker going back home and having so much fun. And I was on the sidelines and Justin Q was talking to the fans, and you know, it was a fun game to be a part of, just from start to finish. And really, if you look back at the Browns game, you're saying, okay, that's a really complete victory, the season high 38 points scored. But yesterday was just an impressive win all around.
It was. I mean, to think that they did it rushing the ball again for over 200 yards. So that's
Run rate.
back-to-back games with over 200 yards rushing, 253 yesterday. And, you know, it was the first division win also, so that was big, obviously, for this team. 5th win of the season, so they want to continue to pile on, but they look to maybe even double the win total if they can win next week. But there were so many good things in this game. It was so entertaining to watch. It was really a gutsy performance by so many guys. I mean, even when Kyler went out, you know, and the defense picked up the offense at times. The offense was rolling at times. It was just a good team win.
It really was, and it was nice to see, like, that atmosphere was just something else, you know. Like, I've been there before, but not in a rivalry situation. So, you know, even walking out of the tunnel, you have that one fan at the end of the tunnel that's just every person that walked by in Cardinals gear, he was giving a hard time to. So it was definitely cool to get a win up there.
Now, as social media director, how much fun was that for you? Just all the tweets and reactions post game.
Well,
I mean,
and it's always nice when you tweet stuff out and you send stuff out, and it's met with positivity, which in losses and tough games you don't quite get that. So it was. I think it was a good day all around for the Red Sea.
well, let's get into something that I enjoy on the show. That's my jam, because we don't get to talk about it too often, but now back-to-back games here. Pick something, maybe a favorite moment or a tidbit that you have about this game.
Something that stood out to me was Buda Baker and Jalen Thompson, a couple of guys that went to school in Washington. Buda was a star with the Washington Huskies. Jalen Thompson went to Washington State. Those guys went back to their home state and just dominated. I mean, Buda Baker, we were talking to him after the game, and it's like, man, you were just reckless out there, and you just throw your body around. He's like, yeah, maybe that could be a problem, but it's just what I do. And his motor, I mean, he plays harder than anybody that I can ever remember. Every single play, he's just going. And Jalen Thompson, to me, has taken a big jump these last couple of games to where you're feeling like you go into next season with Jalen Thompson and Buda Baker as your safeties. I think you feel pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, it was great to see him take that leap, Thompson. And just for Buda, I kept saying it was a Pro Bowler's like mood all game. He was just flying around, and he is our Wired guy this week. So be on the lookout on our YouTube channel for his uncut version coming out later, I think tomorrow. So a little Christmas present for that.
Very cool. That's my jam. Well, a lot of great moments in this one. I think for me, when Fitz tipped the ball to himself and ran a few guys over for the touchdown, that fired everyone up, and that was a great moment. This game in general, when you look at it, they had the blocked kick, they had the Fitz touchdown that was taken away. I think this could have been even more of a dominant
return
performance.
touchdown that was taken off the board.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
Cooper's.
they had some breaks not go their way. Another moment, and kind of a couple moments, when Kenyan Drake got injured not once but twice and came back. I think his toughness really showed up yesterday. I mean, this guy, he's always excited to go out there. I saw him on the sideline, you know, you guys were there, but all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, he's not coming back. Then he's jumping in the air. I'm like, hey, okay, I guess he's
be
coming
all right.
back in. He must be fine. He's jumping up and down.
Yeah, I was right on the sideline for that, and I saw him get injured, and I look over, and he's just laying flat on the ground. I'm like, oh no, what's going on? I'm like looking over, all the trainers are around him. He walked off fine, so I was like, okay, well not fine, assisted a little bit, but yeah. And then I turn around, and he's jumping up and down, and I'm like,
shake
hey,
it off.
yeah, he's gonna shake it off and come back in. And for that, I would say, and then we'll go to you for your jam. Don't worry. But the run rate, #run rate, just coming alive. And this is, 2 straight games where the Cardinals ran over 220 yards. I mean, it's impressive to see. I think looking back before the season started and we had, we tried to think about what this offense would look like. I would have never thought
Pretty boy
this.
football, is that where
Pretty
you were
boy
going with that?
football. Yeah, but
no, you knew, come on, you knew they were going to rush for almost 500 yards in 2 games.
And
at
shout
the
out
end
to
of the
the
year.
O-line, man, for that too. So it's just exciting to see this run game come alive. I believe you had a tweet yesterday that I bookmarked, and it was, for the first time in franchise history, they'll average 5 yards per carry. It's just very impressive to see, and Kenyan Drake leading the way.
Like you said, with Cliff Kingsbury, all the talk of the air raid coming in, throwing the ball all across the yard, and this is what we got. I think it's a testament to him being flexible and saying
Making
the running game
adjustments.
is working. We've got a talented running back. We have Kyler Murray, who's mobile, and great job by Cliff Kingsbury and Sean Kugler, the kind of the guy that creates the running game.
All right,
Well,
your jam.
Bring it.
Along
Do we
those
take 'em
lines.
all?
Bring your jam.
Along those lines, not a very difficult one to pick, but Kenyan Drake's 80-yard touchdown, just the blocking up front, it kind of goes with what Kyle and Lisa were saying, but just the blocking, Justin Pugh getting out and around and sealing the edge, even Charles Clay, Max Williams making plays, so just opening up and parting the Red Sea and Kenyan taking it the rest of the way was definitely a great moment. And
Ooh, I like that.
fun
Parting.
fact, Kenyan Drake has more 100-yard rushing games in Arizona in 7 games than he did in 54
That
games
is
in Miami.
true.
So,
Wow, that is very true.
Crazy.
I
Very
think that
good
goes
nugget.
perfectly into our Rise and Shine
There you
player
go.
of the game. We're going to start with Kyle on this one.
It's like a plan.
Wow.
Yeah, your segue for
Flowing.
Piggyback with Zach. Kenyan Drake is my choice. 24 carries, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zach mentioned the touchdown run, and it was fantastic blocking for sure. When he got through, you knew it was going to be at least 30, 40-yard gain, and he had to beat the one guy who had an angle on him, and Kenyan Drake just turned on the jets and got to the edge before the safety did, and he turned it into an 80-yard touchdown instead of a 40-yard gain. So that showed a little bit of his just high-end speed, which is important for a running back, in addition to the way he goes and has the vision around the line of scrimmage. So clearly this trade has worked out fantastically for the Cardinals this season, and he's one game away from unrestricted free agency now, so he's really optimizing his worth. And now I think it's pretty clear that the Cardinals want to retain him and bring him back, and we'll see how those negotiations go, but the Cardinals want Kenyan Drake to be their main running back, certainly going forward.
I thought it was great in the postgame that he said, I'm only as good as the people around me. And clearly he has confidence and he knows his abilities. But I thought that really bodes well for him, obviously wanting to be here. And he really seems to enjoy the entire structure of what's going on here. So.
And it's the first team that's really given him a chance to carry the ball 20 times a game, and look what he's been doing with it.
You know what, before the show, I thought you had a beautiful breakdown of his secure the bag
I'm not doing it.
celebration.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
You did the little pin number, you open it up.
I said
That was a ho moment.
I had to explain to another reporter what he was doing. He was opening the vault,
There you go.
putting the money in his bag, and throwing it over his shoulder.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I had to watch it a couple times too before because I had to tweet it out from the account, and
Right.
I was like, what did he do again? And then
Secure that
Well,
bag.
and he said that he scored 4 touchdowns last week, but his girlfriend got on him for not having creative enough touchdown celebration. So he definitely moved up a notch, and
yeah.
knowing that free agency is coming, that might have been a little reminder that maybe he is going to get paid soon.
Well, that's your moment, 80 yard.
Yeah,
So
I know.
you gotta secure the bag with that one. All right, so my Rise and Shine player of the game, Chandler Jones, no question. He leads now the NFL with 19 sacks, and that's breaking his own franchise record. He had 17 in 2017. So just to see him just come alive, every single season. What am I talking about? It's just like he's always there. He's always making the plays. Not only is he getting to the quarterback, but he's forcing fumbles. He also leads the league in that with 8. So it's just been impressive to watch him this year. And he's, Jody, 3 away from breaking
3.5 from tying Michael Strahan's NFL record. So
I think he can do it.
You never know.
It sounds crazy, but he's gotten 4 sacks in a game twice already this season. So if he does it one more time, he's got the record.
Yeah, there's no question that he should be in the conversation. We've talked about it for Defensive Player of the Year, and I think it starts this week with NFC Defensive Player of the Week. He should get that this week. So
yeah,
stay tuned. We should see.
He's about as close to a superhero as I think I've ever seen on a football field.
And we've done some illustrations.
So, yeah,
well, not us personally.
No,
we can't,
not me
we can't
either,
do that. But
no.
we need to put him in another superhero cape. All right, Jody.
My turn.
Rise
okay.
and shine.
My rise and shine player is Brett Hundley. You know, Kyler Murray went down in this game. Brett Hundley, you know, has not gotten to play much really, not only this year, but the last couple of years. Did not take a snap last year. He's been behind Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and now Kyler. And, you know, it was just great to see him come in, and he was very clutch. He threw that 28 or 29-yard pass to Max Williams. And then it really is right up there with my that's my jam favorite moment was the run because it's 2nd and 11, and he just kind of found some room to the right, kept going, stayed on his feet, and allowed the Cardinals at that point, who led 20-13, and ran off 5:44 on that drive, and was, you know, able to get that touchdown to Drake, where it really kind of sealed the deal. Now, I remember covering him back in high school. He's a local kid. I think it meant a lot to him. He was emotional in the post-game interview with Paul Calvisi, and I think it meant a lot for him to have the work that he puts in rewarded. You, as a backup, you never get any playing time, and especially particularly in his situation the last couple of years. And I think it was cool to see. Plus, Packers fans, so he was a Packer and then a Seahawk, and Packer fans were thanking him for beating the Seahawks because now, of course, the Packers are looking for that number 1 overall seed.
He gets all the love.
So it was just a really, really cool thing for him. And I think it's interesting covering high school football here for a long time before the Kyle Allens and the Brock Purdy, you know, who's not in the NFL, but, you know, he's a guy that put kind of the high school scene on the map and he went to UCLA and put up big numbers there. So
you
way to go, Brett.
You obviously never want to see your QB1 go down, and seeing Kyler Murray, you're kind of just nervous, what's going to happen. But it kind of takes me back to the times where 2014, 2015, 16, when it was Carson Palmer at the helm, but you knew you could rely on a guy like Drew Stanton. He knew the playbook. It was always a seamless transition with him going in if need be. And it kind of gives confidence in this next era of Cardinals football, knowing, okay, you have Kyler Murray, but Brett Hundley, who could come in, like you said, be clutch and be able to win the game for the Cardinals.
Yeah, we've seen, like you say, maybe you're not going to score 30 points a game with your backup quarterback, but when you got a Drew Stanton or somebody like that, you feel like you can still win the game. You can score 17, 20 points with the backup, because we've seen games with the Cardinals where the backup was just not competent enough and throwing too many picks, and you felt like you had no chance. So it's definitely a big deal to have a backup quarterback that can keep you in games.
Well, and it shows how confident he is too. Just that run where it looks like he's going out of bounds. The defenders are like, oh, he's going out of bounds, and he cuts it back up and keeps the clock running. It was good to see. It was good to see.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, your time to shine.
This one's easy. One of the best wide receivers ever to do it. Had another great game. Just the touchdown catch he had, bobbles it to himself. It was kind of a broken play, and runs over 3 guys and gets to the end zone. So, four catches, 48 yards, a touchdown. He also got to 17,000 career receiving yards. Second player to ever do it in the NFL.
We'll have to count at the end of the season how many Larry Fitzgerald milestone tweets you've had to tweet out from our account.
Yeah. Well, we have one every game because, knock on wood, every time he has a catch, it's the next game in his streak. So, there's been quite a few.
All right, guys, time to bring home the bacon. I know we love to talk about this win. We can go on and on, but just something that stands out most to you in this victory over the Seahawks.
I think, to me, this defense has been criticized a lot, and deservedly so. I mean, they've taken their lumps this season and not had very good games. And you went against an MVP candidate in Russell Wilson, and Seattle was a bit banged up, especially as the game got going and they lost some running backs. But the Cardinals defense played, to me, clearly their best game of the season. Patrick Peterson played really well. The secondary was phenomenal against those Seattle wide receivers. We talked about Chandler Jones. It's interesting to finish the season like this because you feel a lot more confident about this defense being able to take a step up next year, fill in a few spots, but now you feel like maybe it's only 2, 3, or 4 spots, not 6 or 7. So that's a lot easier to deal with in the offseason. To me, we've seen the growth from this defense, and if they can do it one more week against Los Angeles, I think the narrative is going to be a lot more positive about that group.
Yeah, and you look at this team, and the opening drive for the Seahawks was 8 plays, 89 yards. They scored. So you're just looking at it like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
But the way that they buckled down and they would make adjustments, and I think overall this game, that's what was so impressive to me, because you look at situations where they did come out and score on the first opening drive, or via blocked field goal return, just these moments where they didn't fold. And that's what you were looking for. All these other games in the past, they were so close. It's because they didn't overcome those moments. But now we saw that in this past game. So it was most impressive to me, and gives us hope going forward, I believe.
I think there's a lot of things that stand out. Obviously, it's these last 2 wins kind of make everyone forget about the 6-game losing streak. It did happen. It was there, and you don't know what's going to happen next week. But this team has shown the fan base and everyone and themselves, what they can do in the last 2 games against teams that had something to fight for. Also 27 points against Seattle, so 9th time this season, and 8 of their last 11 they've been able to put up 25 or more points, I believe was the stat. And thanks to Mark Dalton on that one. And I believe it's only New Orleans, if you go back to week 5, so if you take that mark and you kind of go from there, only New Orleans has scored more than 25 points. 25 points or more in more games than the Cardinals. So it's pretty impressive. And, I talked about Brett Hundley, but of course props to Kyler Murray for what they did, getting everything rolling in that second quarter. Kenyan Drake was a big part of it, but Kyler was a big part of it as well. So another game where I know he ended injured and we don't know what's going to happen next week, but another game where I think you can really say things are in good hands with Kyler Murray at the helm. And he showed it up in Seattle. Everyone was talking about that all week. Like as if it's another hurdle to climb, and I guess it is. That's something that is a tangible. It's a topic to talk about. Hey, how are you going to do in Seattle? That's the rival here, and he looked pretty comfortable.
Yeah. Like he always does.
Yeah. Like he always is, comfortable, calm, cool.
And one shout out to Max Williams. 2 plays that you won't necessarily see on the score sheet, chasing down the returner in the blocked field goal. Saved a touchdown there, and then also sealing the edge with on Kenyan's big touchdown. So shout out to Max for that.
Shout out, I like that. Bring home the bacon with a little shout out. All right, well, before we close, we just wanted to wish you, of course, a very Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us every week. Next week, the finale of the morning scramble here. But we're going to actually leave you with the victory speech here by head coach Cliff Kingsbury in yesterday's win.
Hey, that's a hell of a win, fellas. Listen, nobody outside of this locker room gave you a chance, right? You practiced your ass off, fought your ass off. We talked about it 3 months ago when they played us. It's a different beast today. All right, that's a hell of a job, all 3 phases, fighting your ass off, clean football, tough football the entire day. All right, because of that, everybody gets a game ball. All right. But I want to point out 2 cats. All right, exceptional jobs. Chandler Jones, 4 sacks.
We need 2.5 next week, though.
Yes. And then listen. You talk about being prepared when you get your moment, taking advantage of it. Brett Hundley. Listen. Y'all knew who we're playing. All right, you know how it went last time. Make sure we show up, all right, Tuesday with that mentality. Same mentality we had the last 2 weeks, all right? That one means a lot, the way it went last time. Everybody good? Hell of a job. Get a break. Nice job.
Cardinals on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go!